I'm Jess Lefcourt. I'm the product manager for EarthRanger, a philanthropic software application for wildlife conservation made by Vulcan. Vulcan's mission to make and leave the world a better place focuses our work on building a future that is different and better for all. This is a future defined by what if and not what is. Since 1986, when Vulcan was founded by Jody Allen and the late Paul G. Allen, we have been tackling some of the world's biggest challenges, starting in the Pacific Northwest and extending globally to places where issues are most urgent. Vulcan engages the power of technology, data, policy, strategic grant-making, and storytelling to develop and implement solutions that improve our environment and our communities. Between 2007 and 2014, Vulcan convened 90 scientists from 18 countries to conduct periodic aerial counts of savanna elephant populations throughout Eastern Africa as part of an effort that became known as the Great Elephant Census. What they discovered was horrifying. During those 7 years, the population of elephants throughout the region had dropped by 144,000 elephants. At the time, that was 30% of the population. The results of the census sparked many conversations and protections for elephants, including the ban of domestic ivory markets by the 2016 Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, or CITES. It also accelerated Vulcan's interest in elephant and other terrestrial animal conservation. One of our interventions is the product EarthRanger, which I'll tell you more about in a bit. While investigating how we might help protect elephants, we learned more about the threats that they face. At a very summary level, they boil down to 3 issues. The first is habitat loss and degradation caused by human encroachment, land use changes, climate change, and pollution. The second, and the most disastrous, is the poaching for their ivory. The third, and the one that I've been asked to speak more about today, is human-wildlife conflict. With a decreasing area for roaming and migration, elephants are being forced closer and closer to human settlements every day, and they're formidable neighbors. Like humans, elephants often prefer farmed foods like maize over their default choice of grass, bark, and leaves. Once an elephant gets a taste of these crops, they can also become what are known as crop addicts, elephants who repeatedly return to farm areas night after night looking for food. In this video, we see a number of tracked elephants who every night run from the sanctuary of Grimetti Game Reserve in the southeast into the community farms to the northwest and then return every morning. There's no fence between the two, and amazingly, they know that they are safe within the reserve. Savanna elephants can weigh up to 6,400 kilograms and eat up to 275 kilograms of food a day. A herd of elephants can contain anywhere from a few individuals up to dozens of elephants. All told, this means that a herd of elephants is able to eat an entire farm's crop overnight. For subsistence farmers, this can mean an entire year's income and their family's food supply being wiped out instantly. Some, although not all, countries have programs to reimburse people for these losses. Between 2014 and 2017, the Kenya Wildlife Service paid out 13,125 compensation claims, including 5,073 crop damage reports, 4,555 human injuries, and even 452 human deaths. And unfortunately, but understandably, many farmers hate elephants. Farmers will do everything they can to keep elephants from their crops. Some will use lethal methods. Some communities will organize hunting parties to seek revenge on the offending elephants or any of elephants they might come across. I took the photo on the right in the Mara region of Kenya. Those are 15 arrowheads that were retrieved from a single elephant carcass. And unfortunately, this is all too common. A number of technologies have been developed and deployed to prevent these encounters and turn human-wildlife conflict into human-wildlife coexistence. Electric fences like the one on the right at Olpejeta Conservancy in Kenya can often keep elephants away from farms. They don't work 100% of the time though, and they're very expensive to install. A more natural approach is to install bee fences like the one depicted on the left. Elephants are scared of bees and will avoid them as much as possible. Organizations like Save the Elephants and their Elephants and Bees project have pioneered the use of a line of beehives to keep elephants away from farms. They also have the side benefit of increasing pollination and providing a saleable product for farmers. They're relatively inexpensive. Save the Elephants estimates their cost at about $150 to $500 per 100 meters. When bee fences are not an option, or when elephants are determined enough to ignore them, human intervention may still be required. As a last resort, protected area rangers can scare elephants away using a number of different techniques, like throwing pellets containing hot peppers or setting off fireworks. Drones have also been used. Elephants, mistaking the sound of a drone for a swarm of bees, can be fairly effectively driven off with a drone, like in this video captured by the Mara Elephant Project. And here you'll see a drone being used to separate a herd of goats from a pack of elephants. However, elephants are also extremely smart, and after a few times, they learn that a drone isn't a swarm of bees, and they ignore them. Thus, this is still a very much a developing field, and researchers are constantly exploring new techniques. This brings us back to Vulcan's work. How do the rangers know to intervene with a crop-raiding elephant before it's too late? EarthRanger is a free software platform for protected areas. It provides protected area managers with a complete view of everything going on throughout their reserve. We integrate with many sources of data and aggregate all of that information in one place, allowing for the proactive and reactive planning of ranger interventions. Among our more than 50 hardware integrations are animal tracking collars from 10 different manufacturers. Using cellular, LoRa, or satellite communications, these collars periodically send a GPS position to EarthRanger. Within EarthRanger, we define one or more geofences. These are lines drawn on the map indicating boundaries where we don't want elephants to go. If an elephant crosses one of these boundaries, it immediately shows up on the screen in the operations center and also notifies managers and rangers via email, SMS, or WhatsApp so that they can intervene before a conflict occurs. We can also track the location of human-wildlife conflict and other incidents entered via the ops room or by a ranger with a mobile device. Kenya Wildlife Service uses EarthRanger in this way to track all human-wildlife conflict incidents throughout the country. Over time, we also build up historical data on incidents and elephant movements, which can be analyzed to study their behavior and predict their patterns, like the video I showed earlier of elephant crop raiding. By protecting villages and farmers from elephants, Vulcan's EarthRanger promotes human-elephant coexistence, preserving these amazing animals and ensuring their proper place as a source of national pride. So, 3 takeaways that I'd like to leave you with. 1, first and foremost, act now and with urgency. The extinction rate of all species is 1,000 times their natural or background rate from before human intervention. Elephant numbers are particularly dwindling rapidly, at roughly 10% of the population per year. Each of us must advocate for the protection of all species and habitats, fight to end the wildlife trade, support conservation organizations, in general, protect the rich natural heritage of our countries and homes. 2, promote human-elephant coexistence, provide elephants with adequate land for grazing and migration, support organizations trying new solutions, advocate for policies that reimburse farmers for losses. And 3, tech can, in fact, make a big difference. We've talked about a few examples around human-wildlife coexistence, but there are so many ways that engineers can help, from discovering more efficient ways to grow food to increase the efficiency of land, to anti-poaching efforts, to improve mechanisms for wildlife counting. Wildlife conservation is filled with very large, very complicated problems. As an engineer and a product manager, I can also say that they're filled with very interesting technical challenges, and you won't find a more rewarding pursuit. I encourage all of you to find ways to leverage your strengths and resources to help. Thank you.